basically the socialist model is the key, because, you know, a lot of people that we've talked to when we've been going around campus and they've been saying, well, you know, like, I live in an all-black neighborhood, and like, my kids, you know, it would be great if they would go to the school right here instead of across, you know, the district. And one guy I talked to was saying that, like, he worked for the Black Panther Party, you know, decades ago, and he was saying that it would be really great if there were community schools that would be teaching, you know, Black Power history and things like that. And of course, that's awesome. And, you know, so it's not a question of whether segregated schools or integrated schools are better, but that, like, what are the schools based on? You know, if the schools, if like the system is based on human need and making things better for people, then yeah, everyone should be learning Black Power history. It shouldn't just be Black students, and it shouldn't be that all students are just learning white history, you know. But, you know, this is not the case, and as we, you know, I'm sure everyone's heard that, like, in Texas, they're, like, redoing the history books to cut out Harriet Tubman and cut out all these things. Like, in Arizona, they're outlawing ethnic studies. You know, these are all things that have been going through struggle, and that are so important in continuing the struggle. You know, if we know that, like, we've been able to do it before in the past, you know, we can do it again. So, anyway, so I think that that's why, like, but if money is involved, if profit is involved in this, then, you know, the students of Wake County, the students of the U.S., you know, and everyone in general is just not getting the best of what we could be getting. And, like, in North Carolina specifically, you know, and Russ and I will talk more about this, but we've had, like, holes in our state budget that they've been trying to plug by charging, you know, Black fees to university students and things like that. But really, we shouldn't have holes in our budget at all. We have, well, because we don't have collective bargaining in North Carolina, there's a huge area in the Triangle called Research Triangle Park, where huge corporations like IBM and so many thousands of corporations have set up offices there, and, like, you know, are making money from our state, but because of tax loopholes and things, aren't putting money back into our state. And so now they're saying, well, we have a budget crisis. We all need to, like, pull together, and, you know, it's okay if our schools go down a little bit because we're all, like, in this together. But really, like, we're not in this together. Like, they're not in this with us. You know what I mean? Like, the people who are making these decisions are not in a budget crisis. They're the ones who are making money even within this budget crisis. And so, you know, I think that Wake County, North Carolina, like, the country definitely benefits from socialism and from really taking into account what people need and how to get there. Like, we don't actually have a money shortfall if we can, you know, use the money in the right way. You know, Fort Bragg and Camp Lejeune are both in North Carolina, and billions of dollars go into that. You know, they're trying to bring thousands more people to Fort Bragg. Like, there's plenty of money, you know. It's just the way that they want to apply it to war and to, you know, to putting money into corporations' pockets and to bailing out big banks and to, you know, not holding people accountable till, you know, when people are getting their houses foreclosed on and things like that's, you know, it's like an allocation crisis that's not going to be fixed under capitalism, because the power dynamics are still going to be there. The people in power that want to put money in their own pockets are still going to be there in capitalism. And so, you know, we need to fight for socialism. We need to fight for a system that works for us, and this system isn't working for us. So.
What Rocky was saying is just one of the examples of the struggles that people like this are involved in on a day-to-day basis. And I mean, our perspective on what it means to be in a youth socialist organization isn't just to, you know, tell people to fight for socialism. I think Rocky showed a really good example of how, you know, we can show solidarity in people in a fight that isn't directly about, like, overthrowing the government or something like that, but it's about being in solidarity with people that are fighting for their independence from you know, capitalism and from the government, and are fighting for the right to determine, you know, what kind of education their kids are going to have. And that is the type of society that we want to create. We want to show people that they struggle and they fight and they can win. And this is done, the people in North Carolina have been involved with, you know, all sorts of organizations down there that are launching an incredible fight against the resegregation of Wake County schools. I'm going to move to our next speaker. I just want to say that we are going to, you know, all the talks are going to be fairly brief because we want to leave time for a real discussion at the end about, you know, especially from the younger people in the room, you know, how they see, like, their perspective on, you know, the struggle against capitalism in the recent period, and how, you know, they see us moving forward and what kind of system we really want to build for ourselves. Jen Waller just recently got back from a conference in Cochabamba, Bolivia, called the World People's Conference Against Climate Change and the Rights of Mother Earth. She's going to talk about her experience there, and and our perspective on that is basically, I mean, the struggle, the crisis in the environment, and what the capitalist system has done to the environment is one of the most glaring examples of why we need socialism, why we need a different system in this country, because it shows the utter lack of ability of this economic system to provide a sustainable environment for the people of this earth. And it's something that can't be achieved under the current system, and Dennis is going to talk about that. It's so cold in here. It feels like climate change, which is air conditioning.
Yeah, really.
April was when that conference took place in Cochabamba, Bolivia. It was organized by the Bolivian government, by Evo Morales, specifically the president of Bolivia, the first indigenous president. And it was a very different perspective on climate change and the environmental crisis than has been given in the mainstream environmental movement, and especially by any governments in the world. It was kind of the idea of the conference was conceived after Copenhagen, because Copenhagen was so exclusive. The conversation really edged out any indigenous leadership, any leadership from poor countries. They were edged out of the discussion. NGOs, any activists from around the world were edged out of the discussion. And thanks to Obama and other rulers of rich countries, the agreement that was come up with at Copenhagen is really not going to do anything for the people of the world. It's actually, a lot of people would argue, signing a death sentence on the majority of the people of the world, which is poor people in every country, people of color in every country, and specifically whole countries like the Maldives, which risks being underwater in just a few years. And there are a lot of countries like that. 20% of Bangladesh could be wiped out with 1 meter of sea level rise. I mean, the people are really facing serious peril here, and that is why I'm on this panel called Capitalism is Killing Us. And I'm here to speak about how it is literally killing people. So that's a little introduction. And so this conference that I went to in Cochabamba, it was very anti-capitalist, and it blamed capitalism as the root cause of the climate crisis. And specifically imperialist capitalism, specifically the privatization of people's resources all over the world by corporations based out of rich countries. And some of the main points of the agreement that we came up with at the conference were, well, there's a document that you can read online, that's the People Agreement. But some of the points were the issue of climate debt, which is basically reparations for people in countries that are going to be severely harmed due to this environmental crisis that it's been proven is largely can be attributed to corporations and to the exploitation of the earth by for the sake of profit. Another point that was brought up was climate migration, which has so much to do with our understandings that we already have of immigration. That people are needing to leave their homes and go to other places as a result of economic exploitation, and as a result of not being able to get a job in their home country, or fleeing due to conflict, war,